Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darklord Morningstar the First? I thought not. It's not a story the Tormentor would tell you, which seems surprising considering he's the Tormentor. Hopefully that joke and reference didn't get lost on any of you. Sorry, I had to show my acting chops for the acting freaking theater deck profile, okay? Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in to Team Forbidden's YouTube page. It is I, Seto-sama the Fanatic, back at you with a brand new deck profile. Sorry, this one is out super late. I had to figure out a formula that I wanted to do for it. Brand new Despia deck. If you haven't figured out from the intro or the thumbnail, I decided to go Despia Darklords for our first profile on the channel with this deck. Despia is basically a theater archetype. It's based around, it's corrupted versions of the Dogmatica, part of the Fallen of Albez lore, but their names are all theater related. Yeah, Eric helped me get the cards to put this deck together because he really wanted me to, he really wanted to see me play this.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I actually really am grateful. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. First off, your main card of the deck, Aluber, the Jester of Despia. I guess I have to reiterate the thing we said in the Suship video. Sorry, Europe, you guys got screwed. Aluber is a corrupted Fallen of Albez, the Jester of Despia. I don't think I need to explain the term Jester to you guys, because Jester is basically like a main entertaining head for a king or queen in ancient times. So Aluber, whenever it's normal or special summoned, you can search a branded spell or trap from your deck to your hand. So basically, in this deck, if you're running it with the Albez stuff, you can search the fusion spell, you can search the field spell, which is also a fusion card, or the quick play spell, which we'll get to in a moment. Also, if he's in the graveyard, and I believe it's when, if a fusion monster that you control is destroyed, either by battle or leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, while it's in the graveyard, you can target an effect monster the opponent has, negate its effects, and special summon it. You can only use one Aluber's effect per turn, and only once that turn. This guy's your main searcher, so you need 3 copies. You run no less than 3. The next one, Despian Tragedy. Fun fact, Comedy is also a card. You will not be seeing Comedy in here. This deck is all based on Tragedy because Tragedy is the better card. So fun little definition fact here. The differences between comedies and tragedies: comedies start off bad and have a happy ending, tragedies start off good and have a bad ending. There's your basic vocabulary right there. That's the traditional Greek comedy and tragedy. Tragedy is, he's at 3 in this deck. I see a lot of people only playing like 1 or 2. I can kind of understand that depending on your build, but I don't think that's correct. Tragedy, what he does is if he's sent to the graveyard or banished by a card effect, you add a Despia monster to your hand. He's literally your Aluber searcher or Dramaturge. We'll get to that in a moment. He also can banish himself from the graveyard to set one of your Despia spells or traps back down. And and you just set it to your field. So he basically recurs your field spell if they get rid of it. So I run 3 of him because I run a lot of cards and combos that can basically combo off of him to get it up there. Next up, 2 Dramaturge. I've only got the 2. You probably should run 3, but I think 2 is okay. Dramaturge is basically a study of it's a perversion of the word dramaturgy, which is a study of drama in theater. So that's the relation right there. That's
Maximus. Everyone doesn't really know the lore.
Yeah, it's Maximus corrupted. So basically, when it is used for material, you just special summon it back. And if your opponent summons a fusion, synchro, or a link monster, except during the damage step, you target it and negate its effects. That's once per, they're both hard once per turns. Well, actually, no, it's not a hard once per turn. You can use each effect once per turn. So, yeah, you can summon it if it's fused during your turn, and then also negate your opponent's effects if they decide to summon from their extra deck once per turn. Next, into the Darklord part. 3 HL. It's HL. Discard her another Darklord trap, draw a card. She's the Class C Darklord, which lets you copy the spells and traps effects in the grave. Next, I got 1 copy of Darklord Tezcatlipoca. He basically protects your Darklord monsters from being destroyed by just discarding him from the hand. He also has the Class C effect as well. 2 copies of Darklord Superbia. It's Superbia. I don't have to explain this one. You base your entire deck around summoning this guy and summoning any other fairy you want back. 1 Darklord Ukobak to get other stuff in the graveyard. Don't you even fucking say it.
Go back.
Damn it! And next, to round off the Darklord lineup, we have 2 copies of Indulge Darklord. Mostly because you can use her to, if you summon her during either turn, which you can via, you know, the spell and trap effects from recurring Darklord Contact, or Superbia, or the first Darklord in the extra deck. We'll get to that in a moment. But you can basically just use her, give your opponent a Darklord that you don't want, and then just add Tezcatlipoca to your hand, and go from there. And next we have the 1 Dark Honest. This probably should be something else, but I just really, really like this card. And 1... Oh, Jesus Christia. Oh, this card is so stupid. I'd run more of it if it didn't brick so freaking hard, but unfortunately it does. Ideal semi-combo, you get this with this and this. If your opponent doesn't have Dark Ruler no more, or Droplet, you basically win. Or if they're not playing like a stupid frickin' back row deck, you basically win. No special summoning, you can't target. Oh, and anything you summon, it just gets negated.
Wait, why does the fire happen every time I do that?
So yeah, that's the monster count. Next up, we're going into the spells. 2 copies of Despia Theater of the Branded. And again, the 2 copies is because we literally have Tragedy, if it ever goes to the graveyard, to just banish it and get it back. So Despia Theater of the Branded has 2 very unique effects. The first is, during the main phase, you can fuse or summon a level 8 or higher fusion monster, and just by its polymerization, and it acts as a field spell afterwards. So you use this to go into basically all of your fusions, and then if a face-up fusion fairy monster you control leaves the field, or non-fusion fairy leaves the field by a card effect, you can bring a fusion back. And those are they're both each hard once per turns. So basically, non-fairy leaves the field, bring a fusion back, fuse, make the fairy. Next, 3 copies of Branded Opening. This is your main search summon card. You can either search a Despia monster or just straight up just summon it to the field, and you discard a card and take a Despia monster. Yes, discarding a card is not a cost. It is a card effect, so you can search and summon by discarding Branded Opening. There's your other small combo tutorial. You're welcome. 3 Banishment of the Darklord. It's banishment, do I really need to explain it? 2 Darklord Contact, because you don't want to run like 3 of them because you're only a hybrid Darklord deck, but this gets everything that you need. This just gets the Darklords back, usually Superbia, and then you put Dramaturge or Christia over it, and then you just go from there. 3 copies of Allure of Darkness, because everything except Christia is dark. Ideally, you banish Tragedy with it, and then you get an additional search. And next up, because this is a fusion-based deck, and there are multiple multi-fusion targets, 3 Super Poly.
Circles your... Oh, you got them. Never mind.
You're probably expecting a joke here. There's no joke, because Super Poly is absolutely no joke whatsoever. This card is a godsend. I love it. 1 Begone Demon Child, also known as Called by the Grave. Because, yeah, you don't want your opponent's hand traps resolving, and it's nice little disruptions occasionally. A Monster Reborn, because we can have nice things There's no Harpy's Feather in here, not in the main deck anyways. Back row, you can, you just basically gauge your opponent in game 1. If they're in a back row deck, you have all the stuff to stop their back row game 2. That's in the side deck. And 1 Foolish Burial. Again, tragedy just has to be sent to the graveyard by a card effect. This triggers tragedy. It's an additional search. I found this on a deck profile when I didn't even consider running it, and I haven't seen most people running it, and I have no clue why. I've seen other people run Goldstark. I felt that was a bit much. I think Foolish Burial is a bit better, especially considering the engine. And for the Darklords, the Darklord traps, we've got 1 Rebellion, which, again, Lucifer getting kicked out of heaven, and it'll do some crazy stuff with Darklord enchantment. This just pops any opponent's card for free, and especially if you're shuffling it back with the Darklord effects, this steals an opponent's monster. Non-targeting, by the way. Both of these are non-targeting. So, we've already seen him. The first Darklord. It's a big body, pay 1,000, special summon a fairy back during either player's turn. Back or from your hand. So if you have Christie in your hand and it's dead, you can just pay 1,000, drop it. Drop it like it's hot. And then can't be targeted. No fairies can be targeted as long as he's out. 1 Despia Perskinian. It's a perversion of the Proscenium, which is a part of the theater. This one is any Despia monster plus any light and any dark monster. So as you can see, that's why Super Poly's in here. They're super fucking generic. So yeah, he's and then he can just target fusions or synchros in the opponent's graveyard and just bring them back. He's so good. You only run the 1 though because he kind of doesn't come up. He's also has my favorite effect on Evil Hero Inferno Wing, which is whenever he destroys something, he burns the opponent for the attack or defense, whichever is higher. So good. 2 copies of Despia Quiritus. This is arguably your main fusion that you would go into, especially if you're running other versions of Despia. If you want to see those, let me know down below. The other 2 versions that most people run are the Dogmatica Albiz version. We have another Albiz profile coming up for you, so stay tuned for that one. Update for the Kaiju one. And the other way that people run it is with Shadal's. Good stuff. Can't really complain. This one, basically, during the main phase, quick effect, you just make everyone's attacks except for level 8 or higher fusion monster 0. And if it's if it leaves the field, you can special summon a Fallen of Albez or Despia monster from your deck for free. Okay, and then Super Poly, so Starving Venom. Super Poly because Dragon Steplia. What more needs to be said for these? Absolutely nothing. So, fusions, gone. We can make rank 8s and potentially rank 10s. So here's Exceeds. Number 23, Lancelot. Attack directly. Level up into spiders. Make Zeus. 1, Dingirsu. Workers of the Evening Star. Best level 8. What can be said? Arguably that or Hope Harbinger, but this one works with everything else because it's dark. Also non-targeting, non-destruction removal. Why not? Next we have Spiders! A giant legion of spiders! Attack directly with Lancelot. Level up into this. Level up into this. Make Zeus. Sup. And this you can make off of 2 Itchels if you summon 2 Itchels. And you have some stupid shenanigans that you can do with this thing because yeah, you know, all your monsters get attack equal to the difference between life points. Excuse me, what? Just make your boys big, and you're constantly playing life points anyways, so make them big. 1 Condemned Darklord, 1 Salamander and Almirage. For if you can, this is for if you have to summon Uko back, and then if you make this, you make Secure Gardener, so that way you can have a light monster to fuse into your Despia and Quiritus. Alright, into the side deck. For going second, we are siding the 1 copy of Darklord Morningstar. This deck usually wants to go first to set up your board. but occasionally you'll have to go second, or sometimes you're going to have to give your opponent a monster. If you want to mitigate that, search this, infuse to make Morningstar, and boom, just blow up their board. 3 copies of, oh my god, a giant rock. I can't believe what I'm seeing. It's a rock, and it's giant. And cross out designator when? When? Cross out designator when, Komami? Why? Why do we not have it yet? 2 copies of, yeah, no, you're seeing that right. That's Denko Seka.
All uncoiled, she ate it all.
Denko Seka.
She did do neat.
So it's called,
I don't want to throw it out.
So it's called, we have a light monster for fusions. This thing, literally, you summon it and they don't have a solemn. Back row deck's dead. You can't play. Then you just combo and go off from there. 2 copies of Ash, because I'll be honest, I couldn't think of anything else.
She's gonna be all fat now.
1 Feather Duster, 3 Cosmic Cyclone, 1 Red Reboot, and this last one I had 2 extra slots. This is a personal touch of mine.
I'll bet on it.
I mean, yeah, go ahead. Negate my card. Okay. Say goodbye to your whole field. And your hand. Plus it fits in the theme. It's Condemned Witch striking back against God for negating her shit. So yeah, that's it for the Despia Darklord deck profile. Again, if you guys want to see the Fallen Albaz Dogmatica or Shadal version, let us know in the comment section down below and we'll go ahead and see if we can get that to go for you. Like, comment, subscribe. We will catch you guys later.